Who was asking the question? Jordan
Yeah.
Shaw. What did you do for Ike's birthday? That's right. Good idea. Ike will help out. How old is Ike? He'll be a teenager next year. All right, go ahead, Jay Shaw. Do you have a question?
Yeah, 23 to 24. I just.
Again, you can have a piece of note paper if you want for something that might. It is my hope that this will be somewhat less confusing than. Oh, people. Of all the things. I am going to give you the helpful little hint if you keep getting these wrong that you're probably doing that's incorrect that you might want to do so that you get them correct. The reason why in life we don't solve things by graphing is because your graph and your answer is only as good as the grapher that you are, and most of you don't care one iota squat about graphing, so you don't pay much attention to it, so you don't do it nicely. Am I right or am I right? You're right. So take a look here. Notice how I did not give you any equations in standard form. These are both in slope-intercept form. So you just need to know how to graph in slope-intercept form. How do we graph in slope-intercept form? You find the y-intercept, which is where? -2, J Shaw.
Yeah.
And what is the slope?
-1.
Right, which means it goes up 1 over 4. Right, and it goes downhill because it's negative. So up 1 over 4. This is my advice to you. Don't just stop with those 2 dots, but also find the 3rd dot. You don't want to go this way, but if you also go down 1 over 4, then you have a wider range of dots to connect, and it'll make your line much more accurate.
I did that.
Okay. What do you want, a ribbon or a chest of pins?
I just wanted to say that.
What? Okay, I appreciate that. So here's your line. Mine's not as good as it should be, but I will fix it. So the other one, quite often when you're doing the dots, actually they'll probably cross on its own. So here, the other one crosses at +3, correct, Jerry Shaw? It's also negative slope, so it goes down 3 over 2, down 3 over 2, down 3 over 2. Oh, look, I already know where it's going to cross. It's going to cross right there, but I still need to draw a line. Down 3 over 2. And that's your answer right there. Right where they cross. This bad boy right here. 4, -3. Do I need to do 24 as well? Anybody out there? Speak now or hold your peace. Okay, thanks for your input. Do you want me to do that one again? 2? -1 is the y-intercept, has a slope of +1/3, up 1 over 3, or down 1 over 3. Those are your 2 lines. I'm just going to draw them. That is a pretty straight line, if I do say so myself. And the next one is, I'm sorry to be arrogant. Excuse me, my friends.
Yeah.
Crosses at 3, down 5 over 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Positive slope, so it's got to go this way. Oh, look at that. It actually happens to hit right where that one's not as straight. -3, -2. Let's say the bill is $24.15, and they give you a $100 bill.
15 cents. $74.85.
What did I say the bill was?
The 60, I don't remember.
What's your
But I
question?
got it right. So on this, so you do the bot. So like 1/3, you go up 3, and then over
Wait.
1.
No.
So
This red line was the second one.
yeah,
This one is this one.
yeah, I know. But
And it's up over 3. Up 1 over 3. Or down 1.
where do you start off at?
Where it crosses the y. That number right there tells you where to start off. I start off at that point on the y-axis. Madison Glen.
25 and 26.
No, not 25 and 26. Both of them? Here, ladies and gentlemen, this is all about you spreading this problem out and using a ginormous piece of paper, because in order to do 25, you have to simplify each one of these to see if they're like terms and can be combined. So my strong suggestion is off to the side somewhere, maybe up here. If you have -2 times the square root of 54, you have to be able to simplify that. What times what gives you 54?
6 and 9.
Square root of 9 times the square root of 6. Now, I have to ask you a question. Do I have to keep breaking it down, or can you see that there is a square root of 9 and we could just go right to 3 from that point? Do I need to break this down into the square root of 3 times the square root of 3? So you can see that? All right. So this gives you a normal 3. 6 can't be broken down anymore because you just get a square root of 2 and a square root of 3, and there's going to be no buts. So this normal 3 gets multiplied by that thing that was on the outside. So you end up with -6 square roots of 6 for this first one. The second one, I'll do it right here. What times what gives you 24, Maddie? All right, I would choose a different one. I can do 8 times 3. Oh, did you do 8 times 3? Because I will do 8 times 3. All right. So the square root of 8 times the square root of 3. I can break the square root of 8 into the square root of 2 times the square root of 4. And I guess I can break the square root of 4 into the square root of 2 times the square root of 2. So what do I get? 1, 2, 3 square roots of 2 to the square root of 3. Square root of 2, square root of 2, square root of 2, square root of 3. These are doubles, so they cross off, gives me a normal 2. These don't have any friends, so I remultiply them. I get a square root of 6 again. But don't forget, this 2 still gets multiplied by that thing out there, so I get another 6 times the square root of 6. Then I have to do -2 times the square root of 12. -2 times the square root of 12 breaks down to what, Maddie? 4 times 3, did you say? Okay. Square root of 4 is 2. So that 2 gets multiplied by that -2 to give you -4 square roots of 3. And when you get there, in order to combine like terms, they have to be the same radicals. Square root of 6 and the square root of 6 you can put together. You have -6 of them and another -6 of them, you end up with -12 of them. -4 times 3. Andrew, I can tell something there does not make sense to you. Which part? Oh, yeah. Frank, you asked me about the one that you did back. Oh, no, that was on the quiz. Sorry. Oh, these are the times that 5 my souls. Colin Bosette.
19 and 20.
Not 19 and 20. Anything but 19 and 20. Really, both of them, Colin? We're still on the struggle bus?
Well, I got 19 wrong there. That's right, the formula.
I don't necessarily know there's a formula. But definitely in my notes, I would write this down. What is importante here is to know whether it's perpendicular or parallel. This line is perpendicular. And what do you know, Jacob, about slopes of perpendicular lines? You flip in it and it's their opposite. Flip and op. Which means if it's a +2 slope, as a fraction, 2 is 2 over 1, so you flip that over, you get -1/2. And now you just need to figure out what your letter B is, or what the y-intercept of the new line right there. How dost I go about doing such things? Well, now it just takes this equation, I'm sorry, this should be x there, and put this in for x and this in for y. So -2 goes for y. I take -1/2 times what x is, which is also -2, making a fraction. What is -1/2 times -2 is? Oh my gosh. Yeah. -1/2, half of -2 is 1. So I get -2 equals 1 plus b. Don't cut corners because you'll end up messing something up. To solve for b, I have to subtract 1. -2 minus 1 is a -3. Is my answer b equals -3? No, this just tells me what I put into the letter b to get my new equation. So y equals -1/2 x minus 3. That is that answer. Perpendicular lines are definitely the harder of the two because parallel lines are done the same way, except what do you know about parallel lines? They just have the same slope. So I have this starting equation. I know my new equation is going to have this same beginning thing. Y equals negative x plus b. These are the new numbers I put in there. This is my x number. This is my y number. Please take your time and do it nicely. 5 equals negative times what x is, which is a negative 3. And a negative 3 is positive 3. Oops. And to get that 3 over there, you have to subtract 3. So b is going to equal 2. And that's what you put in for the letter b right there. Y equals negative x plus 2. Should be an easy test, don't you think? Wait, how many people missed 0 on the pretest? 1? Less than 5? Less than 10? Less than 36?
I
really hope.
It should be fewer than 36, right? Because you can count problems. Rach, question? 21. What was that about? And I will look for work, children, so don't think you can get out of these by not showing me the work. How do I solve a system of equations by elimination? You need to get opposite terms so that when you add these together, it'll go away. In other words, right now I have 12x minus 6x. If I added those together, I would get a positive 6x. Here I get a positive 4y. I got to come up with some way to get them to be opposites. So I would pick this one. Why? Because it doesn't really matter. This one just because it's probably easier. And here's the thought process. You need to know what the least common multiple of 12 and 6 is. Or another way to think about it is if you had a 12 and a 6 on the bottom of a fraction, what would your common denominator be? 12. So this one's already 12. How do I get negative 6 to be 12? I multiply by 2. And I have to multiply everything by 2. That's the rule of equations. So when you do, you end up with negative 12x, positive 18y, and a negative 18 number at the end. I still have this top equation, which is a positive 12x minus 5y equals negative 21. And you just have to watch out for your negatives and positives here. Rach, when I add these together, they're opposites, it goes away, which is what I did it for. I want that to go away. What do I have if I have a positive 18 and a negative 5? Positive 13. The positive is bigger, so it's positive 13y. Which right now makes me sad because 13 is not a nice number to divide into something. I need something over here that ends up being divisible by 13. What is a negative 21 and a negative 18? Negative 39, which makes me happy because 13 does go into 39. How many times?
Hey, Andrew, you need to us work on a hot dog stand.
I got this right. Probably because they know me on this.
Probably. Now, once you know, here's key. You know what y is, so you have to put what y is in for y in any of these equations up here. It doesn't matter. Let's say I put it in this top one. I have 12x minus 5 times whatever I figured out y to be, 5y, equals negative 21. 12x plus 15 equals negative 21, which again, I got this 12. That's kind of an ugly number, but let's see what happens. To get rid of a positive 15, I subtract 15. Negative 21, negative 15 is negative 36. Congratulations, it's going to work. I divide both sides by 12, I get negative 3. By the way, if you wanted to check your work, you could just graph those two lines and see, frankly, if they cross at negative 3, negative 3. There's no way you could get it wrong. Nobody wants to do that because it doesn't work out nicely, but you could. Y-intercept would be what?
-3.
21 over 5. Negative 3. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Lewis? J. Shaw.
17.
17.
I got the one right, I just didn't get the direction right wrong. You said to the right.
And again, George Shaw, I will tell you, try not to do this in such a small area that you run out of room for the problem. It's really easy if you just. First step is to do what? Max will tell you we need to combine. This can be simplified over here. What can I put together? The two x terms, which would give me what? Sure, 7x plus 1 or 1 plus 7x, it doesn't matter. Then, Jay Shaw? Subtract the 1. Subtract the 1. Jordan, why don't I flip the signs at this point? Because you only do that when you multiply or divide. Now, what do I do? Divide by 7. Why don't I flip the signs here? Because it's only when you multiply and divide by a negative that they flip. So I have this now. 1 is less than or equal to x. What do I have to do here? The x is on the wrong side.
Oh.
So you need to do the little switcheroo. Put the x over here and the 1 over here. But when you do that, that's when the sign does change. Mr. Alligator's eating the bigger one. Doesn't matter what side of the thing he's on. X goes over here. Mr. Alligator is still very hungry.
Mr. Han, if we multiply like say that 7, say it was like 7 times -7, do we flip the sign or only if they're both?
Say what was 7 times 7, negative 7? What do you think? If this was a negative 7x,
Like,
if you
we
divided by a negative 7, then the sign would switch.
What if we multiply by -7?
Same thing.
Even if
If you multiply or divide by a negative, if you're changing these signs to their opposites, the signs will change to its opposite. Multiply or divide. AK?
Number 22.
Number 20 also? Nobody knows the story. Oh, this is a great one. What's the deal with substitution? In order to do substitution, what has to happen, if you go back and look at your notes, one of the two equations has to be solved for a single letter. So if you look at your options, which one of those 4 letter terms is all by itself without a little number companion? Max? Right. So an easy fix for this, I need to get x equal to something, I just need to subtract my 3y to the other side. That is the most logical thing to do. So now I know that x equals this. It's called substitution because then I'm going to take this and put it and substitute it in for x right there. So it looks a little like this, -6, which is what the number is in front. A parenthesis for what I know x is, which is 15 minus 3y. And that plus 2y equals -10. Is that making heads and tails, Addison? And then once you get there, it's just a matter of solving the equation. Again, some ugly numbers here. -6 times 15 is -90. -6 times -3 is positive 18y. Plus 2y equals -10. And I can't stress enough, ladies and gentlemen, use a lot of paper for this because people get mixed up because they can't read their letters. They start writing too small. It just goes nuts on them. You can combine this, which is 20y's, which again is kind of an ugly number, but when I add 90 to get it to the other side, -10 plus 90 is 80, which is nice because 20 goes into 80.
You said y, you said it equaled 3 or more.
Do I have confirmation of that from the rest of the class?
I'm not.
In my paper, I have x equals 3y equals 4. 3 comma
Yeah.
4. Did I not say that?
No.
Eddie, are you on Frankie's side or my side? And I don't care if you're on Frankie's side. One of the things I've learned, to be a good friend, you need to admit when you're wrong. I've been wrong many times, but Only one person responded, and I don't know. Usually,
I
Zach,
just don't
did I
think
say
they're
it
paying
right?
us attention.
What?
No,
As
I
attention.
stay with Mr. Han.
I need my
Sorry,
friends
Mr.
to
Han.
stand beside me here.
I would always side with Mr. Han.
I don't know, you
Except
know,
for
I'll
music
fall
again,
more
Frankie.
times than I'm
Yep,
right.
music gets switched.
Stuff that music, that's true. Ashton, do I need to substitute that and get the other number, or am I good with that? Because you just put that y equals 4 in for y right here. X equals 15 minus 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. 15 minus 12 is 3. X is 3, y equals 4. So my trophies at last I lay down. And again. Oh, I was hoping somebody asked about 14. Is it an easy one? All right, children, I see too many people going wrong on this because they don't just kind of sit down and think a little bit here. It might do you well before you even start thinking about this. This is just all you need to know. First of all, you need to know what numbers times what number give you 30. I'm not even going to look at the middle term. I'm just going to write down all the things I know that give me 30. A 1 and a 30, a 2 and a 15, a 3 and a 10, what else? A 5 and a 6. But I don't think there's any other factors that give me 30. So I need to look at those different pairs and say, which of those pairs, when I either add them or subtract them, will give me a 7. If I add this, I get 31. If I subtract it, I get 29. No can do. This can't be one of the answers. If I add these together, I get 13. If I subtract them, I get 13. No. I add them, I get 17. I subtract them, I get 13. Going, no can do. Add these together, maybe I get 13. But if I subtract them, I get 7. So it has to be this pair of factors. It has to be P, and 3 and 10. Now the question is, how do I know which one is positive, which one is negative, or are they both positive, or are they both negative? Well, the only way to get a negative thing when you multiply is one of them has to be positive, one has to be negative. That's the only choice. Which one's going to be negative? The 10, because this is negative. The negative one has to be bigger than the positive one, because when you add them together, you have to get a negative 7. So the negative has to go with the 10, the positive has to go with the 3. If this was a plus 7, then they would be reversed, and this would be negative and that would be plus. Good point, sir. Did you say that, Sam? Sam has had plenty of time to doodle. Sam, can I see your doodle? I kind of like it. No, I want to see it. Sam, show it to me. I'm not against doodling. I kind of like doodling. It's a hoop?
Should have a drawing room stuff.
Or here's a hoop. Is there a hidden figure inside that?
Not really.
Zachary,
26.
where's your 26? I don't know. I just like to say that. People sometimes say what's that? Did we do 26? Oh, is that one of those? Oh, I hate these problems. I really do. The nice thing, Zach, about 26, Zach, are you looking up here? The nice thing is you can't simplify. These are already simplified. I can't break down this. This is a -1, that's a 3. So we got to look and see what happens. What do I get? Zach, you didn't mix up your 4s and 7s and 9s, did you? 54 breaks into what? Okay. Well, how about, what times what gives me 54 there, Zach? Huh? 9 and 6. And the square root of 9 is 3. So that 3 gets multiplied by the other normal 3 to give me -9 square root of 6. Not the same term as, not the same radical as those, but I can put these together. What is plus 3 square roots of 5 minus 1 square root of 5? 3 minus 1 is just 2 square roots of 5. And that is as much as you can do because the radicals are not the same. A, P, S. Again, you give me the same look on last time I did one of these things. What don't you get? This?
No, I get, no, I get that.
You
So
don't get this?
Yeah, kind of.
Well, this is the deal, Andrew. 3 square roots of 5 mean I have this. The square root of 5 plus the square root of 5 plus the square root of 5. That's 3 square roots of 5. I am subtracting a square root of 5. If I have 3 and take 1 away, I'm left with 2 square roots of 5. Anything like x's. 3x minus x is just 2x's. Tops, I have at the most 30 seconds tops.
27.
Oh, that's just a factor in the radical? Really, Ty? It's who? What'd you break this down into? 112 is what? Work with me, Ty.
2 to 56.
I agree. Square root of 2 times the square root of 56. What's 56, Ty?
97.
997 is
96.
96 is 54.
Wait.
Yes.
9 and 7. Wait.
9 and 7 is 63.
No, 8 and 7. That's
8 and 7 is 56, I concur. And 8 is the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 times the square root of 2. Is that where you went wrong? You get 4 square roots of 2, Tyler, and the square root of 5. This gives me a normal 2. This gives me a normal 2. That gives me a 4. What about the x to the 4th? That is 4 x's times themselves. One set cross off to give me an x, another set cross off to give me another x. Multiply those together, I get x squared. What am I left with that did not have a mate? I have a mate. The square root of 5.
Wait, where's 5 comes from?
Goes down here.
Oh,
is that a 7? Sorry. I blame Frankie.
98.
See, that's what a true friend does. Even though he wasn't wrong, he apologized.
Forgive me.
Thank you, Frankie.
Forgive me.
And then I would have to apologize for being wrong and making